Have you ever opened a notebook, written a few pages, then completely forgotten where you put the rest of your ideas? That was exactly my problem before I started using Notion as my digital notebook. I had notes everywhere. Google Docs, phone notes, paper notebooks, random screenshots. Nothing was connected, and finding anything later was frustrating. I needed one place where everything lived, made sense, and was easy to come back to. So this is how I actually use Notion as my digital notebook, based purely on my day-to-day experience. The first thing I did was stop treating Notion like a complicated productivity tool and started treating it like a simple notebook. I created one main page called Digital Notebook. This is my home base. Everything starts here. No fancy setup, no templates overload, just a clean page with clear sections. Inside that main page, I break my notes into categories. I have sections for ideas, learning notes, work notes, personal thoughts, and reference materials. Each section links to its own page. This mirrors how I would normally separate physical notebooks, but now everything is connected. For daily notes, I use one page where I write freely. Whenever I'm learning something, watching a video, reading an article, or thinking through a problem, I open this page and write in plain text. Headings for topics, bullet points for key ideas, and short paragraphs for explanations. I do not try to make it perfect. The goal is capture first, organize later. One thing that changed everything for me was using toggle blocks. If I'm writing notes on a topic, I'll put the main idea as a heading, then hide extra explanations inside toggles. This keeps the page clean while still allowing depth when I need it. It feels like folding pages inside a notebook. For longer learning notes, I create a dedicated page per topic. For example, if I'm learning a new tool or concept, that topic gets its own page. Inside, I use a simple structure: what it is, how it works, key points, and my own understanding. Writing in my own words helps me remember far more than copying definitions. Search is another reason I rely on Notion. I don't worry too much about where I place every note because I know I can find it instantly. I use clear titles and keywords, and Notion Search pulls up notes I wrote months ago in seconds. That alone replaced multiple notebooks for me. I also use tags, but very lightly. I tag notes by theme, not by everything. For example, learning, idea, reference, or project. This helps me group related thoughts without overcomplicating the system. What makes Notion work as a true digital notebook for me is linking. If I write an idea that relates to something I learned earlier, I link the pages together. Over time, this builds a web of connected knowledge. It feels less like isolated notes and more like a growing personal knowledge base. I do not try to make my notes aesthetic. No heavy colors, no complex layouts. Clean text, clear headings, and structure that makes sense to me. The more friction you add, the less likely you are to write consistently. Finally, I review my notes weekly. I skim through what I wrote, clean up unclear points, and move important ideas into permanent pages. This turns raw notes into something useful long-term. That's how I use Notion as my digital notebook. Simple, flexible, and built around how I actually think and learn, not how a template says I should. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.